What's up, you filthy casuals? Welcome to the Casual Shenanigans Gaming Podcast, a podcast all about the irreverent love of gaming. And boy, howdy, do we have a show for you guys tonight. We've been away for 2 weeks, and we're back to talk about E3, our Super Bowl, because we're cool. I'm one of your hosts, Jeremiah, and tonight I am joined by James.
What's up?
Joel.
Hi, I'm a guy.
And Dave.
Also a guy.
I'm a guy too.
I guess I'm a guy if we're all just declaring ourselves.
Just guying it up.
We did not have an episode last week, but thank you to everybody who watched all of our E3 coverage. We're not going to be going over every press conference in detail tonight.
Because we already did.
Yeah, because we already did. You should go check out all of those. They're on the YouTube channel, and you can get them through iTunes. And they're doing pretty well. And it's easy to see which press conferences people were interested in and which ones only got 80 views, Ubisoft. So thank you guys, everybody who listened to it. I'm sorry that the audio quality wasn't that great. We were recording them very quickly with one mic, all of us sitting around a table yelling. So, you know, it about sounds like that, but we have ideas for how we can make the audio quality a little bit better next year. Speaking of next week is episode 150. June 23rd, we'll be recording it live on youtube.com/casualshenanigans, and we'll be putting it live for everybody else who can't watch it when we record it, June 27th, Monday morning around 9 a.m. So be sure to check that out. It promises to be a pretty sweet episode. We'll tease it more when we get to 90 Seconds with Joel tonight. But yeah, episode 150 next week. But tonight is episode 149. And so we'll start the show like we always do with what are you playing this week? Dave, like we even need to ask, what have you been playing this week?
Geralt Simulator 2016, the expansion pack edition. Tons of blood and wine. I was telling Joel, while I had your TI, I've been recording like a more cinematic video. And so I've spent probably 14-ish hours in the last 2 weeks literally doing nothing that you can like check off of a box of like, I did this in the game, just exploring. Free camming, slow walking, screenshotting, just soaking in the environment and loving every second of it. Additionally, we're working on the Arma 3 mod pack update, and I've been playing a bit of the upcoming Apex expansion content, which is amazing. All the vehicles, the weapons, the terrains, it's Bohemia's best work so far, and it looks and plays really, really well. I'm super excited for the actual launch of that. What else am I playing? Still working on the Fallout 4 Far Harbor DLC, and I might have also been dipping my toes into the Fallout Creation Kit, which is not as clunky as I remember the Skyrim Creation Kit being, but it does love the RAM. I sent Jeremiah a screenshot where it was using 14 gigs of memory at one point.
Out of 16?
Out of 32.
You do have 32 now. That's right.
Yep.
How long?
And 8 octaquans of CPU RAMs.
I love it when Joel doesn't pretend like he doesn't know what we're talking about.
It has 8 Xbox Scorpios teraflops of octacons.
Octaquans.
The pixels are unlimited.
They're not as quality as Microsoft Pixels, though. But yeah, otherwise, it's a pretty narrow band for what I'm playing the last few weeks. Looking forward to get back into some Total War, although I did play some GTA 5 with you guys on Tuesday, and that was a blast.
It was, but, you know, also getting that feeling like GTA Online's about done.
I'm ready for more racing there. Like, I could hop on with you guys and just do like an hour of racing every week. It's so much fun.
Yeah, but I mean, still, like, it feels like, I don't know. It feels like even though they keep adding all these new modes, so they're adding like variations of their finance and felony and all that kind of stuff, it still feels like it's the core mechanics. They can't really change at this point, and everything they're adding is just variations of that. So kind of the magic of GTA is starting to wane. Can't really complain because we've gotten hundreds and hundreds of hours out of it. Like that's, it's easily in my top 5 most played games of all time. And I think it's an amazing game. It's an incredible game. But I think it just might be time that I think the group is kind of drifting towards other things. So
dirt drifting. I was going to say that, I don't think any of the recent content has really interested me. Like all the criminal enterprise stuff, the new game modes are all right for like 1 or 2 rounds, but it's the racing and the classic deathmatch and stuff like that I'm still having the most fun with. Like,
Yeah.
just classic stuff.
Yeah, screwing around just in the town and doing races and like the core things are still fun. Everything else is fun to try out a little bit. Shout out
It's more
to
of a distraction.
Shout out to Justin for Drop Zone, undefeated, except for that one time Debbie won. Other than that, we're undefeated. But yeah, I
That's not how undefeated works.
well, I think it is starting to wane a little bit. So
The only reason I still have it installed is because I want to still play through a little bit of the single player.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I haven't played in I don't know how long.
I keep wanting to play the single player because I played it first time at like sub 720p on the PS3 at 22 FPS. So like part of me wants to go back and really see how good it could be, but there's just so much else. It's the too many good games syndrome that we need to do an episode about sometime soon. But have you gotten far into the single player, James?
No.
What have you been playing?
I have been playing. I put about 30 hours in The Witcher.
Oh,
this
nice.
week.
Oh, so you're in it now.
Yeah, I'm in it.
Sweet.
I just got to Skellige. Skellige.
Skellige, yeah.
He's going deep. He's diving in.
I recognize that reference. So how are you liking the
Oh,
game?
who's adminning the chat, by the way?
Yeah, they'll get it.
Play a little bit of Just Cause. That's it.
Okay.
Little
So
Daisy.
in Witcher, are you mostly focusing on story or are you doing side
No,
quests or?
I'm doing a little bit of both.
Mhm.
Like I try to make sure my secondary quests are clear, except for the ones that are like really high level.
Oh, you're trying to keep like a zero inbox of secondary quests?
Yeah.
Oh, good
The
luck.
Witcher contracts I'll let build up.
Mhm.
I don't mind that, but the secondary quest I try to do as I go, just to prolong the experience.
All right, Joel, what about you?
Played a lot of real live Gwent with Dave.
Oh, yeah.
That was a
I forgot
lot of
about
fun.
that.
Yeah, I played a lot. I haven't had too much time to game this week. But yeah, mostly that. I played some DayZ with Dave last night. That was fun.
How did I forget about that?
Killed a whole bunch of chickens. And then we got shot by people and
Joel,
doors
just
opened
hearing-
opened when they hit a
Hearing
button.
you say Daisy was fun and I had like and I didn't enjoy last night at all. It's just such a weird experience.
But,
Joel,
Yeah, go ahead.
what?
I was just gonna say it's unusable, but the first thing I did in the game was I found a frying pan, and I wish the clip wasn't corrupted, but I was so excited to see a chicken. I was like, I wonder if it's got physics yet, and I definitely killed it with a frying pan. It had the gong sound and everything. I'm like, it's Left 4 Dead with ambient AI. We should play again though soon.
Yeah, it was fun. We actually ran into other people and like Melee's still shit, but everything else was working pretty well. So I saw a car drive by. I yelled at them. They stopped
really?
for a second. Yeah, I yelled at them. They stopped and they kept driving. Probably because I had my rifle out.
They
Joel,
stopped because they wanted to. I mean, the rifle probably was like a suggestion, but like they wanted to. They were friendly.
Yeah.
They wanted to give me a ride.
I was thinking, Joel, about what you were saying about the melee, because we had a pretty awful, like, circling melee fight with zombies in the mix and a little bit of desync last night. I think that now that the game is starting to look like an actual, like, this is going to be a finished game, the more stuff that gets updated and polished and closer to, like, a full game state, the more the unpolished stuff, like, looks worse and worse in contrast to it.
Yeah, definitely with higher frame rate, you can tell some things that stick out even way worse
Yeah.
than before.
Yeah.
So, but
And
yeah, that's pretty much it.
I guess my frustrating thing with DayZ, we hopped in. Yes, it runs a lot better, runs way better. Still getting a lot of like hitching and weird frame timing stuff in town. Like I would still say that's not amazing, but my frame rate was higher. I was in the 40s on everything on the highest settings at 4K in towns and then 60 outside of towns. Yeah, but still, I mean, the frame timing is pretty bad. But my biggest issue was still like, and part of it's our fault. You know, I've played like 700 hours of DayZ between the standalone and the mod. And I hop in, it takes an hour for us to meet up. Shane finds a truck. We find a spark plug and a battery, run back to the truck. Turns out it's the wrong type of spark plug and battery, and the truck doesn't work. And then we've already gone through the loop twice where we're hungry, we're thirsty. We finally find food. then we last for a little bit, then we get hungry and thirsty again, and then like you do that loop a couple times, and then there's not really anything else to do at that point. Like unless you want to really dive into all the stuff they've added as far as crafting gardens, building camps, whatever you want to do. It just was like, I don't know, why am I doing this? Like I had no desire to keep playing the game. It felt like it was just falling back into the same old pattern of rinse and repeat, run around, try not to starve to death. And
I just feel like I mean, the thing is, it's a very immersive game. The engine it has, it's meant for simulation. And so it's not necessarily for graphics cards, but more for CPU stuff. So the game's not really meant to simulate, action games. So you got to be really immersed, Jeremiah.
I don't think you
Sorry.
listened to a single thing I said.
I was trying to see if I could argue the opposite. I can't.
Hyper thrashing.
Joel,
for thrashing and
simu thrashing.
Rex
you and I
Kwando
we
cores.
played some Dirt Rally within the last week, and I don't want to say we were playing it entirely wrong before, but I think we've kind of discovered the way better way to play it. Me, you, and Shane's little tournament. I think I had to go out of town. I didn't have time to practice last week, so I just did it first shot. And then you guys were like, all right, we'll do it first shot, do the league race. And you guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys loved doing it that way, didn't you? Like, wasn't that a lot of fun?
It was a lot more fun. I mean, it is fun to take one and just get really good at it. That's cool too. But I think being able to just go, all right, let's just go for it. Maybe one practice, that's it. That makes it a little bit more intense. And I think it's a little bit more strategy for the race, which I think it reflects a little bit more real life for Dirt Rally.
Yeah, because you're not really learning the track. You're practicing listening to your co-driver and reacting very, very quickly. I feel like that was a lot less stressful because there wasn't so much concentration on trying to shave seconds off, which is hard on a dirt track because it's a lot less predictable than an asphalt track. And I love doing it on asphalt tracks, but on the dirt tracks, it just got really frustrating.
And I mean, I won. I'm just going to throw that out there, but I think you guys are going to do even better because I think Shane and you both blazed on all of them. And I think you would get, and not just lucky on some of them, but like I would get really fast speed. But I would keep going until I could get a consistent, decent speed that I knew I wasn't going to screw up on. And so I tried to play it safe on those, and I ended up getting lucky on some of them because you guys got some really good times in practice, but would sometimes screw it up a little bit on the main run. So I tried to make sure I would not screw up at least ever on it because if I lost 30 seconds, I know I'm automatically going to be out of the race.
Yeah.
Speaking of listening to the call outs, you should try doing it with kids asking you questions about the race in your ears at the same time.
Yeah, my wife
did you get the game, James?
What's that?
Did you get it? Are you going to race with us?
No, you got it.
What? Oh,
you got it.
Well, you should. I guess I don't know if you can log in. You have to log in as me for the online thing, or can? Okay, you should join us then. You should race.
I'm working on getting competitive first.
But
I mean, you could still do it for fun, anyways.
I'm not going to compete for fun if I'm going to be like 30, 40 seconds behind you guys.
My wife walked in at one point and was asking me to explain like what the call outs meant, and I was trying to do it while listening to the call outs. Like
it's impossible.
Yeah. 6 is numbers mean turns, bigger numbers, less turn, and other stuff means other stuff. I can't talk right now. But we are starting another Dirt Rally League. Now that one's finished. A couple of people have asked about being in ours. So all you got to do, and I'll put it in the description of this video, but all you got to do is search for the Filthy Casuals, or the Seal Slappers? Yeah, Team Casual. We're Team Casual on RaceNet, on the Dirt Rally RaceNet. So search for Team Casual. It is an open thing. Anybody can join, and the next tournament starts in a couple weeks. So definitely check that out. The way we're doing it, we're asking everybody on the honor system to not practice. It's going to be 4 events, and each of them is going to have 4 stages. You can restart an entire stage if you like your computer crashes, because that happened to a couple people, or like once happened to me. I forgot to start my recording, and then I bumped my controller, jumped the line, and got like a 10-second penalty. Like if something catastrophic happens, you can restart the whole event and try it again, but you can't restart individual stages. And we're asking people not to practice. We're asking people just to go for it. It won't matter if you do practice. Shane will probably win, but you're welcome to. And hopefully
tearing him apart again.
Hopefully, I'm going to have my wheel set up by then and get practicing. I've been playing. Well,
Doom.
I've been playing a lot of things at 1080p with Dave's 970. But I've been playing Witcher. I've been playing not actually that much Doom in the past week.
Really?
I want to get back to it. And just doing some Arma testing in DayZ. That's about it. But I'm looking forward to playing some more Total War. I'm really excited about Total War, Dave, because we left the series off at a really good place last time.
Yeah.
And it's time for like absolute destruction now. So I'm pretty excited about that. We're going to record some of that tomorrow. But for Witcher, I've kind of made a decision, and I talked to you about it last night, Dave. And this is probably going to sound sappy to a lot of people. Yeah.
And I want to call you out just for a second because you were playing Witcher while on TeamSpeak, which did disappoint me.
Well, I was just busting through small side stuff, so it wasn't like.
So there was no dialogue.
There was a little bit of dialogue for like the boxing quests, which I don't. That's never much of a story, so I don't consider that a big deal.
You're not a true fan.
Except when they ask you to like cheat for them. You're like,
yeah. But I listened to that. I was just like, nah, of course I'm not going to cheat. I'm Geralt. My Geralt doesn't cheat. But so anyway, here's my idea. We've heard plenty of different places that at the end of Blood and Wine, they kind of have a good jumping off point for Geralt. They leave the story open a little bit, but they set it up so Geralt's story is kind of ended there. They're making it clear that CD Projekt Red, for now, is done with Geralt's story. And I was talking to Dave. I've spent more time with Geralt than any other character in all of fiction, I'm pretty sure. Between the 3 games and the books, I mean, it's easily 300 hours, easily. Probably quite a bit more than that. And it's been since I built my first gaming desktop. The first 2 games I installed were The Witcher and Crysis. So because of that, like, I've a super strong attachment to the character. Like, I mean, you guys do also to one degree or another. So I think I'm going to play through all the side quests. I want to play through all the Witcher contracts, everything I've come across organically, all the loose ends I want to tie up. And then when I finish Blood and Wine, like, I'm done. When I finish that story, I'll have everything else completed to my satisfaction, and then I'll just put it down, and that'll be like the end of the saga for me. So you want to call me out a little bit, Dave?
No, I just wanted to call you out for playing on TeamSpeak.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because my immersion senses were tingling there with your talking to people while immersing yourself in the world of The Witcher. But I mean, I can see why you would do that. I wouldn't, just because I don't want to ever shoehorn myself into not being able to just pick it up and play whenever.
I'm not saying never. I'm saying I'm not going to be picking it up every week to do a couple more side quests. Like, if they add more content, I'm there day one. Obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm going to plan on being done with my overall Witcher 3 experience, my overall Witcher experience when this game's over. I'm not the type to want to go back and replay the game in a few years. Like, I like having a good concrete experience and then putting it down and being done with it.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm seeing people that are playing through it like their second or third time, and they're asking for like, CDPR, please give us New Game Plus and all this stuff. And I'm like 270 hours into my first playthrough still. Like, how many hours do you guys have in this thing?
Half the amount you have in one Fallout settlement. That's the answer.
I'm also going to say, I know Dave's going to think this is sacrilege and that I must have skipped a bunch of things. I think I'm going to finish the game around 110 hours total playtime, all DLCs and the core game.
I mean, I can see that happening, yeah.
And I've played a lot of side missions. Like, I haven't been blazing past them. I've done pretty much all the side missions. I've got maybe half a dozen in Skellige, half a dozen Witcher contracts across the entire maps, and then whatever else I find in Toussaint. So there's a lot of stuff in Toussaint I haven't come across yet. But, like, other than going everywhere I can to root out every tiny little side quest, I've gotten everything that you come across pretty organically. So, all right, you guys ready to get into E3?
Do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so first we're going to start with our E3 predictions because we made them a couple weeks ago. And as usual, we're mostly wrong about most everything.
I think we all got like one right each.
We'll do them all, and then we'll talk about if anybody actually won the predictions. We can discuss it then if anybody really thinks they've got like a strong leg to stand on. But first, we'll start with our general predictions. We predicted that Sony would reconsider backwards compatibility. No. They'd add PlayStation Now to PlayStation Plus subscriptions. No. PSVR games are cross-play with normal PS4 versions. No. So we got nothing right about Sony. Xbox predictions. They'd push the universal Windows platform, machines, new games, etc. Yes. That was 100% right. That's all they did. Their entire conference was push the universal Windows platform. So, good on us. And then Nintendo predictions, Zelda would look like another Zelda game. Zelda fans, what do you think? Agree or disagree?
It
did,
looks way
but it
different than
kinda
a regular
didn't.
Zelda. Yeah.
It
Yeah,
didn't have
it's
that
very, very
familiar
different.
Zelda.
I just read though
order.
that the Zelda map is 9 times bigger than Skyrim. It's
Well, when
like
there aren't actual
gigantic.
textures, it's pretty easy to kind of extend it out.
Is it too late to add PC predictions to the list?
Yeah, it's a little too late. We didn't have any.
Can I cheat there?
All right, so here are my predictions. Now, we made these predictions before Sony announced that the Neo is real and would not be at E3. So I predicted the Neo would be $400, play 4K Blu-rays, have a 1 terabyte hard drive, and offer about 10 to 15 better performance, and would release this November. I'll bet you I was 100% right, but they pulled it because the Xbox One S and Project Scorpio are much better, and Sony got the leaks when everybody else did.
Now they said in a I don't know what
Yeah, I read that
media
too.
it was,
The
but they
internet.
said in an interview that they never had plans on showing the Neo
Sure,
at
sure.
E3.
That's
Yeah,
why.
but-
That's why the end of their press conference kind of had a giant, obvious hole in it.
Well, no, that's not like actual facts because I mean we've had
No, it's not a fact.
many E3s that have shitty endings. There's been
But-
many E3s.
Yeah, they
But
usually end
there's a
with
lot
something.
of there's no fire, but there is a
No.
lot of smoke that heavily suggests that they.
I don't
pulled it
know.
last
I
minute.
really don't know. I mean, remember this is a freaking early to talk about the Xbox Scorpio. Really early. They do.
It is,
like,
yeah.
This is over a year and a half of talking about it. I think they're way early to talk about that. I think they had to because Xbox needed something. I don't think
But
PS4
here's
They
the-
needed
most likely
something
was
based
going
on the
to.
fact that Sony had a lot of stuff apparently leaking.
Right.
Which
and here's
created
I actually I don't think they pulled the Neo stuff because of Scorpio necessarily. That might have been part of it. I think it could have been because of the One S. Because the One S is Ultra HD streaming and plays 4K Blu-rays and
and it's going to get a small performance boost.
is smaller, is more power efficient, is using a slightly more performance intensive chip, and starts at $300. I think that would have been actually the biggest issue. Would be the new Xbox that's actually going to be sold in a couple months is probably about similar to the Neo. It's at least similar to the Neo stuff that's been leaked. And so I'm sure Sony looked at that and went, "Oh, well, we can't charge $400 or whatever for this. We got to retool it."
Also, it's good to remember that they do have their PSX. Microsoft doesn't have anything like that. PlayStation, PSX, they do reveal some pretty big stuff.
do,
And
yeah.
they revealed the PS4 way earlier than even E3 when it was
They had their own
announced,
standalone
remember?
event, yeah.
So they could have even been planning to do it this December as well. So who knows what they're honestly planning to do.
I think what everybody says about them, they were probably planning on launching it
the
around the same
PS4
time
was
as
revealed at
PSVR.
E3.
No, it wasn't. It was
It
revealed.
was 2013?
It was
Nope.
It was teased before that.
Yeah, they had like a preview event in like March or April or something, and then they did the full
Didn't show the
spec.
cost.
Yeah, they did the full spec rundown and the costs and everything at E3. But everybody knew the PS4 was confirmed. They talked about it. They showed stuff off. Like they talked about a lot of stuff before E3. But anyway, that's my theory with the Neo. Of course, we don't know, but it makes a lot of sense. My other prediction was Modern Warfare would be sold separately this fall for $40. Did not happen. Then the new Xbox cuts out the DVR, is smaller and more power efficient, and is $300. It is smaller, it is more power efficient, it is starting at $300, although they're only selling the $400 model first, and then they'll sell the cheaper models later. They didn't mention that. at the
Did they cut out
conference.
the
That's
DVR?
lame.
They didn't
Well,
mention
they're not
it at all,
supporting
so-
DVR at all right now.
Yeah, they're not doing anything with DVR, but I don't think they actually.
But do they
cut it
have
out.
two HDMI in the back though?
I don't know.
Oh.
Actually,
would
one of you
imagine
guys, would one of you guys
they
mind
don't.
Googling that? See if you can find a picture. We've seen a lot of renders of the front of the console, but I don't think we've seen any actual
Yeah.
pictures of the back of it.
The only thing I know that they cut was the Kinect port.
Yeah, now
Yeah, you have to
the
have an
Kinect
adapter.
breakout box, which is, well, I don't think it's going to affect that many people. But
No.
yeah. All right, and then my last one was new GTA Online expansion was announced. Where didn't happen, as far as we know, right?
Nope.
No.
The popular theory going around, and it is just a theory, it is not confirmed, was that Sony was going to have Red Dead 2 at the end of their press conference. That
Even
was
though they
another
said
big game.
they denied that being the case, but that's
They
still-
did, but I mean that's just PR. And the rumor is that was pulled after what happened in Orlando, and that could have been the large presence Take-Two was talking about because they said they were going to have a large presence, and then as far as we can tell, they didn't really do anything.
The only thing they had
significant.
there were games that had already been announced.
So-
they didn't announce a single game.
Again, like with the Neo, no fire, but there's smoke. We're not going to dwell on it because it's just a rumor. But now, Joel's predictions: Half-Life 3,
Announced.
That'll never happen.
Dark Souls 3 DLC trailer. I'm actually kind of bummed we didn't see anything about that.
Yeah, I was too. I honestly kind of forgot about it after Microsoft, their event, like was so good that I honestly kind of forgot about Dark Souls. I was a little sad that there was no Demon Souls announced at Sony's, but like a remaster or anything. New Zelda shown off only for Wii U. That ended up being true.
Well, it was shown off on Wii U, but they've said it's
Yeah.
coming to NX, so that's like a half.
Yeah,
point.
but
Like,
I wasn't sure if what they were going to show was going to be like, is this 100% Wii U, or are they going to be showing off something that looks like, could that be on the new system? You know what I mean? Kind of like how like Watch Dogs or Battlefield is shown off generally on a PC, and then you'll find the footage of the PS4 or Xbox One later on, you know? So anyways, it is bigger than Skyrim. Yay. Left 4 Dead 3, definitely not. No PS exclusive shows on the phone or Vita. No.
all right, James, what did you predict?
Red Dead 2 didn't happen. And what's funny about my next prediction is I predicted, based on what Phil Spencer said, that there was not going to be any updated hardware, like not just the Xbox One S, but like an actual spec bump, like the Scorpio.
Right.
I mentioned that, and then like days later, rumors started coming out about the Scorpio. I was like, crap. So I thought there was a good chance that one wasn't going to happen. No Elder Scrolls 6 announced, which is actually did happen, and then new Xbox features, which did kind of happen. New popular backwards compatible didn't happen.
I mean, Tekken Tag Tournament.
Yeah, but
All right.
I mean, but I put in the notes like Red Dead and Skyrim, which Skyrim ended up being remaster.
Right.
So.
All right, Dave?
My first prediction was that we'd see a teaser and announcement for new Witcher 3 content. That was more my heart speaking. And there were also rumors that there was something that was going to be announced. Well, it wasn't Witcher 3 content. I missed the mark on that one, but it was a standalone Gwent game. And I told Joel, like, when CD Projekt Red lies, they lie hardcore. Full standalone Gwent game, multiple platforms, with single player and multiplayer, and like a 30-man team. Like, that's ridiculous. So that's where all the CDPR rumors were coming from, but not Witcher content. But I'm still very happy with the announcement. So I say I missed the mark on that one. I also predicted that we see some content for Cyberpunk, and nothing at all, actually. Very quiet on that front still. I predicted Fallout 4 story DLC and got it correct.
Coming this fall, it's coming in August, but I mean, that's,
yeah, that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
The what is it? The Nuka-Cola. What's the part called?
Nuka World.
Nuka World. You'll play as a raider, and the Steam page actually just appeared, and it says you'll be able to attack settlements in the Commonwealth. So I'm wondering if I can create like an alternate character and attack my own settlements, because that would be awesome. It would be fruitless, but it would be awesome. And
You
then
could just be coming down heavy-handed on settlements that aren't giving you your proper coin. Or
If you just
cash.
Dave, you should play as me. I'm basically a raider.
It'd be like an Orwellian scenario where like war is peace, where like I'm orchestrating the attacks to keep the population in check. I also predicted a new Electronic Arts AAA shooter announcement, and they confirmed Battlefront 2 for next year. They confirmed a lot of games, actually. I think Titanfall 2 was already announced before E3, though, wasn't it?
was, yeah.
It was, okay. But yeah, Battlefront 2 confirmed at E3, in like another little dev video.
Is that what you meant by that prediction?
I was going to say it was either going to be a Medal of Honor, a Star Wars, or something to do that tick-tock year-to-year for EA's shooter lineup, because they've shown ever since Battlefield 3 that they're not happy with just a Battlefield game every 2 or 3 years. They want to fill that year-to-year gap to fight Activision, and that definitely came true.
And then Debbie's only prediction she actually made during that podcast was a first-person VR Geralt simulator. Didn't happen. And then she says in person she mentioned Skyrim, a remaster of Skyrim a couple times, which I think she did. But it wasn't an official prediction, so it does not count, Debbie.
Last place.
It doesn't count. Those are the rules. I
Right to
revised
last
my
place.
prediction when they said the Neo wasn't going to be there. Okay.
Yeah, I would have revised mine when they said Xbox Scorpio was being made.
Exactly.
So I guess
All right.
Dave is the winner. With
I guess.
One and a half.
Yeah, what and a half.
Now,
We got a three
if you want,
place
again,
tie
if
for
you
a second.
if you want to hear our thoughts, our in-depth thoughts on all the conferences, except for Nintendo, go listen to the casual conversations we recorded after each of them. You can find them on iTunes or the YouTube channel. But we're going to very quickly rank the presentations from worst to best. And then we're going to give out a bunch of awards like we do
This
at
is-
the end of the year.
This ranking is pretty easy, I think.
Coming in at the bottom, Ubisoft. For being the only conference long enough for you to watch, get bored, take a nap, wake up, and there are only 2 games farther ahead in the schedule.
I took 2 naps during that conference.
2 naps.
I took one next to James during that conference. I was just like dozing in this semi-conscious state.
And to think the way it started off, we'd be falling asleep later on. How did it start
after the
off
way
again?
With the dancing.
Yeah, with the way that conference opened, I'm surprised I didn't have like nightmares.
And then next is Nintendo. Mostly because
It wasn't a bad conference as
It
far
wasn't a
as
good
the
conference.
games were good.
they're just not
But-
good. Like, it wasn't really a conference. It was like a live blog of stuff we're doing. Like, I don't think anybody wants to watch someone playing a 3DS for 45 minutes on the stream. Like, that's just not good television.
Especially when they say we'll be right back with more Zelda stuff. I'm thinking, okay, 20
we're
minutes
gonna
max.
dedicate most of this show to
55
Zelda.
freaking minutes.
Next is Electronic Arts. They did not have a bad conference, but it was just fine. It was what
kinda
you expect. Yeah, it was checking all the bases. They're a giant faceless corporation, and they held up their end of the bargain. I would have liked to see the actual Battlefield 1 multiplayer match as the actual end of the stream, and you not have to wait another 20 minutes until they did the multiplayer match, because that was kind of cool. But yeah, it was fine. Then Bethesda did a great job, but they didn't
we
have
missed
any
one
like
in here.
They what?
Missed one in here. It doesn't
What?
technically count as a presentation, but the PEC Gamer.
Oh
Where
yeah,
would you rank that?
I'd probably be about the same as Bethesda. Like, there were some
Yeah.
cool games.
I think it
that
was.
we-
I was thinking it's a little lower than Bethesda, but better
Really?
than EA. Yeah.
I thought there were some cool ones. Who did We Happy Few? Was that during the PC one, or was that during
No, that was
That
during
was-
Microsoft.
Microsoft? Okay. I really liked some of the reveals at the PC one, like the Observer game. That looked pretty cool. There's a couple more. I thought it was in the introduction of the RX 470 and RX 460. Like, I thought it was a pretty good conference, big improvement from last year. But it wasn't really a conference. Again, it was more like Nintendo. It was more like a come see what we're doing type thing. But then
But
Bethesda.
I think Bethesda was better.
okay.
I do.
I mean, that's fair. I could see how you would.
Yeah,
Think that-
I think it could fit in between.
I mean, they
Bethesda
showed off
and EA.
Dishonored 2, which looks surprisingly better than Dishonored 1. They showed off some pretty cool content for Fallout, which I love sitting next to Dave and listening to him say, "Oh, I've got a mod for that. It's been in the mods." And they said, "Oh, that's new. Oh,
You can experiment with the Vault Dwellers. You have
I can
my
make a mouse
attention.
trap." And then, of course, Skyrim HD or Skyrim Special Edition. I thought it was a good conference.
Yeah, I thought it was a good conference. And then Sony had an amazing conference. It looks like most news outlets think that Sony absolutely cleaned up. So here's my opinion on it. Sony, like, all the games they showed off were awesome. And we'll get into details more in the awards, but the entire conference was just mature. It was respectful of everybody's time. It was respectful in general, and it was all about games. We're Sony. We have the number one console. We have nothing to prove when it comes to that. And here is the incredible lineup you're going to be seeing for the next few years. My only downsides were a lot of the stuff they showed off that was so amazing, we're not going to actually play for at least another year. There was some stuff that's coming out in the next year, but there was a lot of 2017, 2018. Kojima's game could be 2019 or 2020 for all we know. That game doesn't even exist yet. That game's just a teaser trailer. So, like, there was
It'd be
a lot
cool
of,
if E3 started turning around to being more, it's out now. That would be, or it's like next month.
So
That would
and
just
it
be
felt like
awesome.
at the end, it felt like they pulled a little bit away. They pulled a punch at the end, which we're assuming could have been Red Dead 2 or it could have been Neo. But overall, I mean, it was an amazing conference.
Like
It was an
Days
awesome
Gone looked
conference.
good, but it didn't feel like a good ender.
It didn't,
Especially
and that's
considering
why-
they announced it early in the show, not
Exactly.
at the end.
Exactly. So I think Sony was incredible, but Microsoft, the thing that got to me about Microsoft was almost everything they showed off was it's coming out like in the next few months, and they introduced new hardware. Now the cheapest Blu-ray player that's going to be on the market, or
UHD Blu-ray,
UHD Blu-ray player. a more power efficient, smaller unit, which is what people wanted. And then everything they presented was not just here are games, here are amazing games that are coming out. It was here's where we're trying to make this platform go. And we've been saying for years and years and years, we care about PC, we care about the platform, we want to make it better. And this was the first time where it actually sounded like they were doing something about it, where it wasn't just lip service. It was, here's our plan, how we're actually going to make this happen. And we'll get into more of it in the awards. But for me, that's why Microsoft won the conference, because kind of like with HoloLens last year, it wasn't just games. It was, here's where we want to take gaming. And it was inspiring and encouraging and a little bit challenging to the ways we've played stuff before. Like, for all of that, that's why I think Microsoft is at the top. Sony absolutely
and they
killed
had
it
some
with their
fantastic games in Microsoft too.
Oh, they did.
I think Sony had more back-to-back fantastic games.
Absolutely.
But, during Microsoft, they did have Forza Horizon 3, which looked fantastic.
Mm-hmm. The Gears of War 4, which a ton of people are excited for.
Yeah, they had some really good games, but overall, they started off immediately with the 1S.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, wow, they're starting out with like what could be one of their biggest announcements. Mm-hmm. So it kind of set the precedent for the rest of the show for them.
Yeah, I think for me, when I was watching it, it was exciting. I felt like they got a little bit taste of, honestly, Deadpool. Like, the Hollywood studios are like, oh, it's not going to work. It's too risky. It's like fans are asking, can you do a movie that actually represents the comic book, And so I think for Microsoft, it's like, can you do something that would actually connect it? And I think they're so scared of, it's going to be taken away from this, and nobody will play Halo or nobody play PC games. But I think they're getting a taste of, wait, actually, people are okay with that. They're excited about that. So hopefully we see more and more of that. But it was exciting to see them go, oh, crap. I guess if we do take risks and go, let's actually allow them to have more freedom to connect the games together or play, or we give a little bit of freedom, and you're probably going to earn a lot more respect, and then you're going to earn more gamers playing on their systems, buying more games and things like that. So I think that goes a lot farther than, them trying to restrict to make sure they keep their not coppers, their coffers. There we go. Keep the coppers. Keep the coppers. Yeah.
Joe's been playing a lot of The Witcher.
For me, it doesn't sound like that big of a deal to say, well, you buy it for here, you get it here too, but that could be an industry changer, especially for, them unifying their market. Effectively, they've taken their install base and exponentially grown it by adding PC gamers now that begrudgingly might switch to Windows 10 to buy the game. But in that also, they announced cross-play, cross-save. That to me, I thought that was a very bold decision.
And so let's get into our awards. I think it's a good segue into it. Our first award is the I Believe Again award, awarded to the best conference, and we awarded it to Microsoft. And not all of these are unanimous. Sometimes we have multiple answers for some of these, and we can still disagree about some of them. But the I Believe Again award for best conference goes to Microsoft. I want to read something that Phil Spencer said. He did an interview with PC Gamer, and he said, all right, so a PC Gamer asked him, almost every game you announced at E3 was for the Xbox One and Windows 10. Forza, ReCore, Sea of Thieves, Gears of War, etc. And Phil Spencer said, all the games we talked about are first party. Yeah, we've been saying this for a while. Was it E3? 2 E3s ago, I said we're going to do more work on the PC than we've ever done, and you guys all rolled your eyes at me, as you should, because you all go, Games for Windows Live 2.0. And I get it. Yeah. Every time we talk, I say, we got to earn it. Our Quantum Break launch wasn't the best launch. The Forza Apex launch, I thought the Apex launch went very well on PC. We're going to learn by doing. So we need to learn to ship PC games again, honestly. And apparently Phil Spencer worked on Deadly Tide, Fury Cubed, Midtown Madness, Age of Empires, everything like that. That when we shipped the original Xbox, for better or for worse, we focused almost the entire organization on doing console games. And that's 15 years ago, and the team's built a lot of muscle of what it takes to build and ship console games. And then he says a couple other things. He says, I've been saying for a couple years I wanted to get back into PC gaming. I actually see our best customers are playing on console and PC. I'm not trying to push everybody to go play on console and PC. There's clearly PC gamers who don't want to have to do anything with Xbox, and Xbox people who just want to play on Xbox and don't play on PC. But a couple years ago, we said, what do we need as Microsoft to think about or strengthen on console, and our role with Windows to be a good platform provider for gamers on both? it started with DirectX 12, making sure that's available on both. Xbox Live, spreading our independent developer program to Xbox and Windows. Cross-play, allowing people to play across networks, stuff like that. And then he talks about a lot of other things. But basically, it's when they said a couple years ago, we're going to do more than we've ever done before, just wait and see. This is what they were talking about, and they've been working on these games ever since then. And rightly so, nobody believed them, because that's how Microsoft's always treated it.
One of their first conferences about the Xbox One, I mean, they really got their ass handed to them by Sony that year and by the fan base because of the strong media focus and the centerpiece of your living room focus they had at the time. And so I think as a company, they did a 180. I mean, they started killing off features and start focusing on games in each press conference since then. In each, they added backwards compatibility. They added, lots of new features that the gamers want. And to me, it builds that confidence that they're going to, if it's rough at the start, they're going to push to get it right later on.
Right. They've obviously invested way too much money at this point. I think they really are serious about it this time. Whether or not it works, they have to be serious about it because all the work they've put into it is ridiculous. It's got to be in the hundreds of millions of dollars at this point. But for me, the single biggest thing is pushing Xbox as a platform, not a box. Not a unit, not one console. Because what is like the number one thing that we always run into when we're trying to figure out what games we want to play together? It's what platform are we going to get it on? Because Dave and I generally play everything on PC if we can. James kind of goes back and forth more. Joel plays most things on console if he has a choice. But what Microsoft's pushing is, what if it didn't matter? What if you could still chat with each other? What if you could still play with each other? What if you didn't have to buy the games twice? Like, what if you just bought the game, granted through their proprietary store? So I'm not saying this is like an absolutely perfect service. But what if you just bought the game and then you owned the game and could play it on both platforms and could talk to your friends and all that just carried over and you didn't have to think about it? That's what we're doing. And not just are we doing it, every single first-party game we're doing, or at least that they announced this year, is doing that.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Well, from their perspective, this is fantastic because they're probably never going to catch up with Sony as far as consoles sold.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily matter.
Yeah.
Because they're making their money through software anyway.
Mm-hmm. Now, it's not everybody isn't all the way on board with the idea of merging the platforms. Actually, our good friend Steven, Singularity 80, told me earlier today, he said, I guess it's bittersweet. After being part of the Xbox world from the very first day, standing in Walmart with money I borrowed from my father to pay for my Xbox and Halo, beta testing Xbox Live and being blown away, the highs of Burnout 3 and Gears of War 2 and 3, it kind of feels like something's going away. And I could see how people would feel that way. I mean, I know, Joel, you weren't...
That's a part of life, though. I mean, companies go away. Pontiac going away. Saturn went away. I mean,
Nintendo's
Sega
going away
as a console. I mean, Nintendo may go away as a console maker one day. We don't know yet.
They should.
But
they
Sega went away
a year ago.
Atari went. I mean,
no, I can
goes away.
I can definitely understand that. Yeah, I can. I mean, I remember. I mean, it feels like. I mean, it's kind of making a little bit of a resurgence, but not as much. But just straight up couch co-op games. There's a lot of still co-op games, but everything's more online only. One person per game. So I can understand in a way of like, that was the thing. That's a good memory. That's where you play the games. This is where it's at. Yeah. So again, I would probably be sad if consoles in a way completely kind of go away and it just becomes kind of like, I don't know, some other just streaming thing. And it's like all like even adding like all the Netflix and stuff on the PS4 or on the consoles back on Xbox 360, that was very weird at first because it was like, oh, now you can watch movies. It's like, I just want a game only, But honestly, it's been a cool thing. Like it's kind of evolved and it's pretty awesome. I really hope, I would love to see Sony be able to do the same thing so I could play, so I can buy Battlefield 1 on PS4 and not have to play it on PC. That would be nice. So I can still play with everyone, but, or I have the option either way. That would be nice.
Right. It would be, but you're going to get in Battlefield 1. You got to get it on PC, dude.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm excited to play it, so I'll get it. But it's just one of those things where I'm like, I'd probably play it more if I had it on PS4.
Probably, but you'd be playing it completely by yourself.
Exactly. And I don't play
like
multiplayer games by myself.
On PC.
Yeah.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Now, so we say all that. We're very jazzed up. We really liked the Microsoft conference.
Yeah.
All the stuff they announced is really cool. But make them prove it. They even said that themselves, so make them prove it. none of us are shelling out extra money for this. When they actually make it happen, I'm excited. When I can buy Horizon 3 on my PC and it works really well and I can use it with my wheel and then I can go play it on my Xbox, I am all on board. I'm really excited to be able to play Forza on my PC. And this probably will make me go ahead and take the Windows 10 upgrade, just all the stuff they announced, because I want to be a part of what they're trying to do. But make them prove it. Don't give them any extra money until they actually make it happen. But good on them for actually trying to make good on everything they've been saying for years.
Just like
What's up,
writing a
Joel?
check right now, just generically sending it to Microsoft address. Here's $50. They're like,
Thanks,
cool.
guys.
They're like, somebody
All right.
cashes it.
Our next award, we have a lot of awards. The best, they have an orchestra award for best presentation is awarded to Sony.
That was,
I
so classy.
I was so excited,
when they
dude.
started playing that song at the beginning. It was like, holy
Not just
crap.
playing the song. When I saw Bear McCreary walk out, I was like, that's Bear McCreary. Like, we don't really think of composers. They don't really have like the same status as, pop stars do.
Yeah, there's a very
John
narrow
Williams
list
does,
of ones
but
that
most of the
keep
time, yeah.
How many
superstar
people
status.
could pick John Williams out of a lineup, though?
Visually,
Yeah.
not many.
I recognize Hans Zimmer. I recognize Bear McCreary. Like a
People
tiny
would
handful
recognize
of-
John Williams.
I would not. I guarantee you, I don't know what John.
Nah, I don't
Williams
think
looks
so,
like.
Joel.
I can't picture him right now, actually. I'm going to Google it.
You can't picture
but-
freaking John Williams?
Joel, not
Screw you guys.
Moving right along.
so. Anyway, Joel,
That's
do you know who the
embarrassing.
key grip was on the original Star Wars? Can you picture him in your mind right now? You don't.
That's
What type of fake
different.
fan
That
are
is
you?
that's
Fake fan.
different than
Fake
John
fan.
freaking Williams, who did Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Close Encounters, effing Superman, E.T. Come
Effing
on,
Superman. That was my favorite one. Yeah, I just looked up the picture. I never would recognize this person. I don't think I've ever seen a picture of him.
I Googled it. I definitely recognize him, but I don't think if you put him in a room with like 10 other older
If you didn't have
composers
context, he's going to get what's he doing? Going to get his big.
He's just leaving
Cardboard
because he's
cutout of
disgusted
him.
with us. All right, so anyway, but yeah, the orchestra with Sony.
he's going to get his inflatable
He's
John
going to miss the
Williams.
best part of this part of the conversation if he doesn't get back.
But Bear McCreary is my favorite composer. He's absolutely my favorite composer because of all his work on Battlestar Galactica, Outlander, a bunch of other things, mostly Battlestar Galactica, if I'm being honest. But he's done a lot of things, and he's a really awesome composer, and he's still young. He's still like, I think in his 30s, maybe 40. So he still has decades. He still has decades of composing ahead of him, and I love his work. So I was super excited just to see him. And then the song was really cool. And then they played live for the rest of the conference. Like, it would have been cool just to have an orchestra at the beginning.
Yeah,
but then
instead of having
playing along with
trailer
all-
music and stuff during demos and stuff, it was like they were following along the action, and it would ramp up when the scene would
Yeah.
change. And it was
Think of all the
really
practice that must have taken. I mean, that's a good way to blow a couple $1 million, Sony. I don't know how much it cost to make all that happen, but
cool. Joel, they played the Star Wars theme. How
I
much
know,
did
that
that?
was-
How much did that do it for you?
I mean, we all saw his face. It was doing it for him.
I sent Dave a text today because the Bespin trailer came out for Battlefront, and I said, "Nobody gives me the shivers like Star Wars does."
I was just like, that's exactly
I
what they
can't
were
help
hoping
it.
for,
Like,
I'm
I
sure.
see that the theme song hits, my whole body's just like vibrating.
That's far too much information.
Like,
James,
thinking
what's our
about
next
Star Wars
award?
The next award is the Awkward Friend Singing Drunk Karaoke Award, and that would be the most cringeworthy. And holy crap, when Ubisoft started their conference, and the people started coming out on stage dancing. Like at first, it was like, ugh, another Ubisoft like crap fest, and then like these dancing animals started coming out, and like it just got so weird. And Joel's taking a crap in the bathroom. We're like, Joel, get out of here. And he's in there trying to push harder to get out as fast as he could. And then it was
It
over.
wasn't worth it. Don't worry, Joel. You didn't miss a thing.
It was worth it watching afterwards, wasn't it?
It's one of those things where I think, like, watching it happen, it was almost like they were just doing it for shock value. But then they really
But the rest of the
weren't.
conference wasn't good, so it just ended up being
Yeah.
shockingly bad.
If they had just accepted how stupid and weird that was, that'd be one thing, but it just felt like they were like so proud of that, like wild and crazy.
I think
intro.
Aisha Taylor kind of realized how stupid it was.
Yeah.
She kind of had that like, what's going on?
And then Broken Collarbone guy, Dave, this seemed to just touch you in a good way. Why don't you tell us this setup during EA's conference? How did this go?
Oh, it was during EA's conference. That's right.
Yeah. It was the Madden. It was the Madden.
Yeah, it was during the.
He was talking about their big competition, esports.
I get that esports are big for them and it's a big money maker, but E3 is for like new announcements. These games come out every year and their sports segments go on for so long, and they're dragging out these e-sport competitors who are smack talking over Twitter about how, they're gonna be the best Madden player 2017. There's gonna be this tournament, and they line
most
up
dramatic videos. It was it was just really dramatic, like following the world champion, the best player in the world.
He's like, people can come at me, and I'm like, nah, Floyd Mayweather doesn't box with chumps in the street or whatever.
Chumps off the street.
Yeah.
And then this other guy's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna defeat this guy. Blah blah blah. Go ahead, Dave.
And then they line up all these poor nerds on stage, all these esport nerds.
And we're nerds. We're not saying we're above that.
Yeah.
But these guys,
they were definitely nerds.
These are the best esport nerds, though.
The guy was comparing
LG
himself to
Pro
the number
nerds.
one boxer in the world, who's also a dirtbag. But comparing himself to that because he's really awesome at Madden. It was like, okay.
The last guy in the row is
the guy that they focused on as the main
guy who's
competitor.
supposed to be taking down the champ.
he's the one who's going to be rising to the top. He's got his arm in a sling.
We're like, why is he in his sling? What's going?
I was like, okay, like, whoa, esports. Like, these guys just have like a knockdown, drag out fight at the hotel last night. Like, this is hardcore. They go to this guy and they ask him like, so what happened to your collar, or your arm, which I guess
It was his collarbone.
they knew that everyone was, I guess, thinking that question. It seemed very weird for them to do all this trailer stuff and they'd be like, tell us about your injury. Like, how is this relevant? And the kid's like, oh, well, I was racing my friends. We were doing some racing and just I forgot to tie my shoelaces, so I tripped and fell and I broke my collarbone. I was like, no.
It was amazing because like he's raced. I was like, oh, is it like a car or something like that? Oh no, you were running.
Yeah, you better try.
Running in the
He's
parking
playing
lot
Madden.
at
His whole
E3.
thing is faking running around with like 20 guys on a field, and he tripped and broke his like that is one of
Make
those definite. Just
something
lie,
up.
just lie.
Yes,
please lie. So people can still believe in you. Lie.
Yeah, I got bit by a
the number one
bear.
Madden player in the world just drop kicked me at the hotel when I got there because he couldn't handle the threat.
We got in a little confrontation at the weigh-in.
Yeah.
No, the other guy definitely won the weigh-in. All right, the most Joelism thing said at the conference. Any of the conferences?
For people who don't know what Joelisms are, it's just when Joel says something absolutely ridiculous, most of the time innocently. Like this week, what did he say at work this week, Dave?
I was making fun of him for buying a cheap car battery because apparently he spent like $40 on one at Walmart or something.
No, don't do it.
I was just like that's cheap for a car battery, even for cheapskate Dave. I was like, yeah, I'd probably open up my hood, open up that battery, take a look inside, and it's just got some double D's in there. Some double D's in the car battery.
And the thing is, like, Joel says stuff like that all the time. But
I meant to say AAA.
it's not like Joel's not dumb. He's not a dumb person, but Joel talks really fast sometimes, and he likes getting out concepts, and he's more interested with the concept than he is with the specific wording. So he says just lots of usually inappropriate sexual things because it's Joel. But like he knows what he's trying to say, and he can usually explain it. It's just that he says stuff where you're like, wait, what? So Microsoft said during their Scorpio announcement trailer, which they've gone back and edited since then, and the version on YouTube does not have this line in it anymore.
What? Are you serious?
It says Scorpio will have the highest quality uncompressed pixels. Now you know Microsoft, the dev on that thing, you know he understands how pixels work. But like, it's like, guys, don't disrespect consumers. Anybody interested in the Scorpio reveal video knows what a pixel is. Like, nobody's going to stumble across, like, grandma's not going to stumble across that, ooh, Project Scorpio, getting that for little Johnny. Like, no, anybody who's interested in this understands what a pixel is. That's like going, like, it's email. It's like speaking to people holding up the internet wires to your ear. It's like, no, we know what email, like, come on, guys, just be straight with us. Yeah, just be straight with us. So
you guys keep rolling. I will be right back.
I know it sounded so stupid. It was like, it was like almost like annoying artsy fartsy ways of saying it. But I am curious, is there anything like that you could explain away that not even on their side, but is there such a thing as like a different project? Okay, you're watching YouTube, right? You can get a like let's say the megabit or quality of the video. Like I wonder, like it almost sounds like it's more of like saying that, you know what I mean?
Okay.
You don't compress pixels.
The highest quality
video.
pixels would be like a higher screen technology, like IPS or something. So a screen maker,
almost like a
sometimes
raw
makes
image or
sense
something.
when you're talking about a camera sensor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it allows
like-
more light or something
like
on the
if
sensor.
LG was talking about a TV and was like, these are the highest quality pixels on the market, that's a real thing. Microsoft is outputting an HDMI signal at probably 3840 by 2160. One pixel goes in one spot, another pixel goes in the spot next to it. Like that's it. There's no I'm probably 8-bit color too. I mean, it's theoretically possible they could be doing 10-bit color. They're not. I'm pretty
Like,
positive.
I guess I was more curious about that. Like I like that whole thing sounds like BS. I know, but I just wanted to know, like, is there any other way of like kind of like when you said like the HDR for the new Xbox S, how it's going to have better like color range or whatever? You know what I mean?
Higher dynamic range.
So I
That's
guess I was
Ultra
wondering if that
HD.
was more trying to encompass. It was a dumb way of doing it, even if they were trying that. But I just didn't know if there was actually a way of having higher quality of image in a different fashion.
No, not really.
Like almost going from like
as a graphic
IPS from a
designer, when you
VGA or
switch
something.
between different color bit rates, that you can go beyond the 0 to 255. You can go like way beyond that range, and it's not necessarily distinguishable if you put it on a screen or if you print it out just on like regular paper. But there is subtlety in that, so it makes sense when you say HDR, but unless they meant by highest quality pixels is they're going to have better graphics.
That's
Best pixel per pixel quality graphics. If they said something like that, it'd be fine, but just it without any context, just saying we're going to have the best quality pixels,
Yeah,
it
it
doesn't
was
mean
just,
anything.
which is ridiculous.
But anyway, the best Show Us the Money, Not Your Filthy Trailer award for the best gameplay demo. Now, our finalists were God of War, Horizon, and Dishonored. What do you guys think?
Well, the reason I put God of War on the list is because I'm actually impressed that they started off right into gameplay, as opposed to the typical play a 3 or 4 minute trailer and then throw in some footage at the end. Now we're going to show you how a level, blah blah blah. They went right into gameplay, which I thought was pretty fantastic, and it is quite a different turn for God of War. I'm probably most excited though about Horizon on that list.
I think me too. That was the gameplay. I've been looking forward to seeing gameplay to see, all right, what the heck are we going to do in this game? And then I enjoyed the gameplay. I wasn't blown away by it, but like it looked about like I was hoping it would look, and it looked really good.
It looks
like,
fun.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. So Joel, what do you think?
I would say God of War. I'd say God of War. I think that was awesome. Horizon looks interesting. It doesn't look that much fun to me. I think honestly the combat and the Zelda footage looks better because like it all has almost similar enemies, like these robots and stuff. I was hoping to see if there's any climbing on top of enemies in that, so maybe there is later on. It almost reminded me too much of Far Cry 4, so I'm like almost not. It looks awesome. The premise sounds cool, and I love the end of the teaser where it shows the wall. That like the story sounds interesting. I'm just kind of worried about the gameplay.
Okay. I'm going to add a few more in here after Dave names his. Go ahead,
Which
Dave.
award is this we're doing right now?
Best gameplay demo.
And the
Our
You don't have to
finalists
pick
were-
from that. You can
Yeah,
name
you don't
one.
have to pick from the list. Those are the ones we put in there. We put in God of War, Horizon, and Dishonored.
You can add
But
Battlefield if you want.
can we do the full name of the award here? The
We already did the full
We
name.
already said it.
the Show Us the Money, Not Your Filthy Trailer award.
Yes.
For me, I'm gonna pick Battlefield 1 for showing us the intro to the trailer, stopping the trailer, talking for 5 minutes, showing the intro to the trailer again, and finally the last half of the trailer before talking some more, before finally gameplay after the show. Like that was the most annoying setup. Like guys,
I think
the
that could
music's
actually probably go
rising.
under another award that's coming later.
I laughed so hard. Like,
but what did you
stopping
think
the
of-
trailer at the crescendo and then
What do you think
Got
about the
me
actual
back.
gameplay? Do you think it was one of the best games shown off?
for Battlefield 1?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Because that's what this category is more on, like what we saw and what we saw we liked.
I can say so for me. I mean, I've
Okay.
always loved Battlefield. It looks like it's correcting a lot of the mistakes that I didn't like about 4 and Hardline. So while still trying to remain skeptical, because I've been burned a few times recently, yeah, I'm excited about 4. And
Just recently. Not every other year.
hey, 3 was amazing. I love the DLC for 3. 4 could have been
That's
good.
a long time since being burned. I also put Dishonored on the list, and I thought that
Yeah.
looked really good. They did a good job showing off kind of what that game's going to be about. The two that I would add are probably Forza 3. Like I mentioned earlier, look fantastic. Forza Horizon 3. And the game that I was actually surprised at how fun it looked was Sea of Thieves. Like,
Oh yeah.
Like it,
Oh, yeah, that looked
it may not
awesome.
be a great game, but it looks like something we would have fun hopping in a
Screwing
boat.
around in. Yeah.
Yep. So
Joel, eventually you got to get a cheap Xbox One or Windows 10 just so you can play some of these games with us.
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, honestly, I might end up getting a 1S just for the Blu-ray capability. So
Yeah.
if that happens, I'd sell you my one for dirt cheap if you wanted. If some of these games
Sounds
pan
good.
out, end up being good.
Yeah.
You know,
All right.
if a lot of ifs here.
Sure.
you'll buy it for Horizon.
So the next one is the Beautiful Bullshit and Inevitably Broken Dreams Award for the best trailer, because E3 trailers are like supermodels on the cover of magazines. That's not an actual person, and you have no idea what it's actually going to be like later. Does anyone disagree with the name we have written down before we say it?
No.
I don't even remember the name of the game.
I'm really excited about that.
Oh, I am too. But based on the trailer, that this is nothing to do with the game. Death Stranding by Kojima Productions. It's a Kojima game. We have no idea what this game's going to be like.
Yeah.
He said it's going to be kind of actiony, and the trailer, it's supposed to get you all worked up emotionally, which it does because it's Kojima and he never fails to do that. But he just started. They're probably just
That's probably
starting
all they've worked
pre-production
on
of
at this
game.
point.
Yeah, Kojima Productions just got set up 2 months ago. They're
Yeah.
not even working on the game yet. What you just saw there probably will never make it into the game in any form or fashion, just because the game is probably 4 years out. That's just how game development goes.
And that trailer was confusing and weird. I know nothing about the game because of it. I don't understand what I was looking at, and it's somehow exactly what I was expecting.
But you
from
didn't
him.
need to either.
Yeah.
All right, the next one. Dave, what's the next award?
What do we got here? Someone else grab this because this is not my deal.
Joel.
I found $20 in my coat pocket award. Biggest surprise. Crash Bandicoot and Resident Evil 7. Yeah, the Crash Bandicoot surprise. That was they did a really good job on that. It would have been cool to see more, actually see any footage of it, but so maybe they haven't started remastering yet.
I'm sure I haven't. Yeah.
But yeah, they had just the way I forget whoever walked in, but they had this
I
kind
can't
of green.
remember his name, but they had that shadow of Crash walking across
Yeah.
the stage as his
That was
shadow,
really
which is kind of
cool.
cool.
It was Sean
Yeah.
Layton.
That was well done. So I mean, honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Crash Bandicoot. I played a little bit. They're okay, but for anyone who's a huge fan, that must have been awesome for them.
But they
And
are
Resident
they are
Evil.
re-releasing as remasters the old Crash Bandicoots
Yeah.
from the original ones,
The
not
first
like
three, I
not
think,
like
right?
Twistanity and stuff like that. But yeah, and also he's going to be a character in Skylanders Imaginators, which I thought was kind of cool. They kind of go on the route they did with Donkey Kong being in Skylanders for Nintendo.
Now, did any of us guess that this game was Resident Evil before the title screen went up? Because I feel like we were all surprised when it
I
happened.
was actually
I
pretty
didn't at all.
surprised. that it
Because we
was-
spent the whole demo talking about how scary this was going to be in VR, and I really want to do on the Casual Shenanigans channel a let's play of Joel playing through, just Joel because he'll be getting PSVR first, him playing through Resident Evil in VR. I feel like that will be absolutely terrifying.
I can't wait. I played the demo and it's awesome.
Sweet, I'm looking forward to playing it. But and then I don't think biggest surprise we had Scorpio written down. I think it was a surprise how much they talked about it.
It was
for something
it was
that's
a
not coming out
surprise
for a while.
because 2 weeks ago there was no Scorpio.
That's true, and they were saying no,
we're
we're
not
not
working
about
on it.
all that. Yeah,
I want to say that for Scorpio, I was surprised because sure, with that amount of GPU power, around the 980, that's going to be even older, at the end of next year. But that's still more than I was expecting out of
Yeah.
Microsoft, honestly. That was an actual surprise for me. That actually impressed me. So I think that was a surprise.
Yeah, I agree
And
with
they
you,
had
Dave.
Todd
That
Howard
was
in the video, so I mean
that was honestly way more, I think, what they had packed in that machine than I was expecting this
Yeah.
quickly. Because I think if they had just gone, even if it was just twice the speed of the Xbox One or whatever, that'd
Yeah.
be like, oh, this is awesome. This is gonna be great. You know what I mean? Good news for them. But it was like, oh shit, that's awesome. Yeah, it actually felt like that's gonna be a pro gaming
That's
system.
real.
Yeah.
Now good news for any PC gamers who are wondering, like, well, what do I, am I going to be able to keep up with my PC? The benchmarks that have released, supposedly they're real. They come from a couple reputable sources who are normally right with their AMD benchmark leaks, but take them with a grain of salt. The RX 470 is supposed to cost about $150 and is a little bit faster than an R9 290, which means it's about GTX 970 fast and will cost $150. So that's Scorpio or faster.
Yeah.
And it will be available in a couple months, and it'll cost $150. So it's not like Scorpio is some impossible dream machine unless they revise the specs before next year, which is very possible. But it could be really, really cool. And it's possible they could get that thing down to a $400 or $500 price point by that point. It's possible. We'll see.
And for a console specifically, I think it's going to be an awesome machine. I think it's like kind of honestly above and beyond, I think, what I was expecting. So I hope to see the same thing with Sony, just be like, sweet. Seeing that made me go, I actually checked some 4K TVs today, just I'm like, sometime maybe next year if Sony does that or whatever, maybe the Xbox, I doubt it, but that I'm going to get one of those. But that would actually probably make me want to change to get a 4K TV if they do that,
Yeah. And then the
Dave
next
can do this
award.
one.
Yeah, Dave, what's the next award?
Next award's going to be, Best Indie, the Poor Man Game Award. Is that correct?
Po Mans.
The Po Man.
Po Man's Award.
The Po Man's Game Award for Best Indie.
We Happy Few, which I was convinced until the actual title screen was a new BioShock game. But I said in person afterwards that the gameplay, I guess it was trailer. The trailer and the theme was so good. Even though it wasn't a new BioShock, I was still super happy. Like, I was like, I'm really, really interested in this. It's a fantastic presentation, great concept. I will be getting this if it's any good at all.
Yeah, it looks.
It was kind of weird.
really
It was like a tie between gameplay and trailer.
It seemed like it could have been a gameplay trailer. Like, I guess we don't really know, but it looked like a gameplay trailer.
Yeah.
I loved the ending where you're hitting the piñata.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, oh, somebody's off their happy medicine because you realize you're hitting like a dead rat and eating a dead rat. Well, not currently dead, but becomes dead because of
Right.
idiot. I thought it was fantastic. And the eerie faces and yeah.
The animation and the voice acting and the music was all so creepily on point. It was
and the
fantastic.
period also. The period,
Yeah.
the style of that BioShock Infinite look. Pretty amazing.
We've got a downer. A wooga. A wooga.
What's up, Joel?
The next one, I forgot.
All right, Joel, what's the next award?
Well, this one made me laugh so hard because I think it was Jeremiah was like, was it Jeremiah or James
Yeah, it
or
was
Dave? I don't
me.
know.
I pointed it
Yeah.
out.
But you were just like,
We know what his
I
secret
busted
was.
out laughing award during the Battlefield 1 gameplay. They had an hour of gameplay. They were just switching back camera shots, and Snoop Dogg was there.
His team was
and-
winning at this point.
Yeah, his team was winning, and the camera rotates around him, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool gaming, like, oh, it's Snoop Dogg, and he's got a blunt hanging from his mouth, and it was just like, are you serious? Like, what the hell?
Because we had it muted too. Apparently, they had that little red carpet thing, which was super cheesy, where they introduced the celebrities before the match. Apparently, Snoop Dogg told the camera guy at the event, he's like, "Don't worry, guys, my team's gonna win. I've got a secret weapon with me today." And then he pulled the blood out.
It's such a weird live stream because they had so many celebrities and then they
Yeah.
didn't show most of them because they're not good gamers. They're just there to be celebrities. But watching Snoop Dogg playing, his character just like running into a wall over and over as Level Cap leans over and is like giving him pointers. I'm like, what a weird thing is going on right now. Like Snoop Dogg's blazing up on the
He
Battlefield
reminded
1
me of
stream.
Towley. He's like completely worthless, and then he gets high, and he's like, "Oh, we'll get high." It's like,
I like seeing the interview segment with Terry Crews talking about how Terry Crews prefers mouse and keyboard because like it's so much more accurate and stuff. You're like, whoa, all right, Terry Crews is into that. And then in the stream, he's got his middle finger down to the W key and his other fingers are just floating and he's just like staring at them like, how do I play? He looked like he actually kind of knew what he was doing, so maybe he does game.
People were saying that he actually was trying to like really get the mouse and keyboard working, and you could like see it on camera.
But yeah, that was such a weird, like, why do they want all those celebrities? If you wanted to impress people, it'd be much better to get 64 Battlefield YouTubers. I mean, if White Boy 7th Street gets an invite, I'm just saying, like, there's some actual good Battlefield players you could have invited for less money, probably.
Also, after Snoop Dogg being there with his blunt at the live stream event. Twitter has been fantastic this week with the photoshops. I think my two favorite ones were Battlefield 1 has weather effects now, and someone took a Photoshop of the all the fog going across the map, and then it had like Snoop Dogg like, with a blunt like in the fog, like in the map. Like just all it's like one guy figured out where the weather came from, and then someone screenshotted the scoreboard with Snoop Dogg, and it was just labeled "Don't do drugs, kids," and it was his score: 0 kills, 9 deaths at one of the matches.
Because all the footage they showed was like X Factor and Level Cap and Matimio, and they're like strafing super fast and like they're just ripping people to pieces. Like it's just, what did you think was going to happen? Honestly,
Yeah.
And of course, we noticed that. Of course, within 10 minutes, there's a sniper just riding the blimp into battle, shooting from the top of the blimp. It's like a sniper mountain that moves. The next award is the You're Killing My Hopes and Dreams and You Hate Puppies award for the biggest letdown. And I think we all unanimously agree that went to Wildlands, Ghost Recon Wildlands.
It's because our hope was so freaking high for this game.
You guys have heard us talk about this for the past year, how excited we were for the premise of Wildlands, how we all want to play it together and stuff. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to put words in anyone's mouths, but after that demo finished, we all kind of looked at each other, and I think even Joel, who's normally very positive when it comes to gameplay demos and stuff, like, even if it's not an amazing game, Joel always sees something that he's
see the good in people.
Yeah, there's always like
pixels.
There's always like a good angle where Joel's like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." But even Joel was like, I mean, it could be good.
It could be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, part of what ruined it the first time we watched any footage was them talking over it.
Right.
You know the fake. All right, man. You lined up. All right, everybody on me. 1, 2. 3. Oh no, let's get him. He's getting away. Like that kind of crap.
They're just making stuff up. They're saying like, "Cover me." Nobody's covering anybody. They're all independently playing the scripted demo. Cover me. I'm going left. It's like, you're not doing any of this. Like, and actual gamers are watching this.
Like Joel pointed out too, what made the squad talk even more cringeworthy was none of it was necessary because it looked so easy. So it was like playing the easiest armor mission possible while treating it like you're playing like an actual simulator.
Like you're playing old Ghost Recon.
Yeah, there was just such a dichotomy between all the squad talk and like them just walking through everything for the.
Well, yeah, and then it became like this just like cluster when they're like trying to chase them down. One guy's in a truck, one guy's on a motorcycle, like driving around like this, and another guy's in a helicopter flying above, and it didn't even look GTA quality.
Yeah.
Like as far as chasing somebody down, and it was kind of given off as kind of this tactical shooter.
Yeah.
Last year.
And I think, Joel, you've said this before, like playing Dark Souls has ruined a lot of games for you. Because like once you've had an experience that deep or that challenging, a lot of other games just feel like weak sauce. And I think Dave and I probably had the same thought of like, yeah, Wildlands will probably be more polished in certain areas than Arma. But like if you want that tough tactical squad military stuff, like just Arma would be so much better than Wildlands. Playing Arma, even with all of its bugs and quirks and everything, looks like such a better experience than playing Wildlands because
they
it
blew up the whole freaking
chintzy.
complex for no reason.
Yeah,
was that just scripted?
I think the person riding the motorcycle, I don't know if this was scripted, but he was riding past going, "Whoa, the town's blowing up," and that's how everyone else felt. Like nothing happened that should have caused this. It's just doing it.
He just drove by and mentioned it like in passing, like, "Whoa, that town that we just snuck into carefully, it's all exploding now." Moving on. It's like,
yeah, I would have been really impressed if they started the demo. They get they land on the ground. They're sneaking up a little bit. They're scoping out the base. They tag people. Like, okay, like I was fine with seeing like, okay, cool. Like only 8 enemies. Okay, that's fine. So I was expecting like if as soon as they start shooting, 4 guys enemies start shooting, 2 of their guys die like immediately, like get hit, and then it's like, oh crap. And now the other guy's like stuck in a building. Guys, you guys get her, come. And the other guy like rescues 2 of the guys. One guy's stuck in a building, and so you really had to like. I was hoping for honestly a more polished Payday 2 experience, like a little bit more setting up. Like I love the like casing the unit. Been cool. Where I mean, Payday 2 turns into zombies at the end, but like this would have been cool if it was like, okay, if you dick around in the game, you're literally gonna die really fast. You know what I mean? Where you can do an easy mode. We could do an easy mode. Now the reason I'm still cautious about it because I would love to see some more footage on like hard or another level of just regular gameplay to see.
I want to play it. I want to try a demo. I mean, I think that would be. I think we'll all get into it and we'll play the demo and we'll see if we like it. And we might possibly still like it, but from being so excited last year, watching this and then the next day watching IGN had 10 minutes of someone who was very terrible at playing
Gosh,
easy
that
open
was
world
so
games.
embarrassing.
Them playing 10 minutes of it, like the stuff you can tell is the enemies, at least in that demo, have like no health. The vehicle handling is very, very bad. It looked like hardline vehicle handling.
You can get shot 100 times and not matter.
And I'm guessing the missions are going to be very formulaic, like spin-offs of each other, because it was the most cliche. All right, got to get the information about where the guy's being held, and so you just kill 3 guys, walk into the building, download the data on where the person's held. You go there, you kill a couple guys. Oh no, he's getting away. It's like a 3-step story, and then you chase the guy down. His car just bullet sponges for a while. Like even Grand Theft Auto has more realistic shooting at vehicle physics than this. And then you finally stop him and you arrest him, and that's it. Like there was never any point where there was some challenge. It looked like you had to figure out for yourself what to do. It was always just, here's the chasing part, here's the infiltration part, here's the shooting guys part.
Yeah,
that's the mission.
Man, I kind of miss Payday 2 now. You should have brought that up, Joel.
I can actually tell exactly when the demo lost me. Is when they had all that set up with their team of 4 sneaking from multiple angles. The guy had the suppressed pistol, wasn't it? Like going to the base, taking out bad guys. Like, sure, you're catching them by surprise. They have low health. Like, that's all fine. But you're trying to be quiet, sneak into the base. And then he turned a corner and got surprised by a bad guy who had an AK that wasn't suppressed, wasn't silenced. And the guy fired the AK before the guy killed him anyway. But there was 0 consequences for that unsuppressed gunshot. Like, it did not matter. All that sneaking... He could have been hit firing for all the enemies in the base seemed to care.
Yeah.
Like it's just there was no consequences whatsoever.
That comes out when? Like February? March? Something like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'm just making a small note in chat. All right, our next award is the most Ubisoft conference award. Is awarded to Ubisoft for having
We're sucking
long
start to
interviews.
finish.
But Nintendo kind of gets that award too a little bit.
Oh
But
no,
at least they had Zelda.
There's
Yeah,
a there's
that's
a
true.
separate Nintendo centric decision,
Okay.
like the award coming later. So the most Ubisoft conference is awarded to the conference that doesn't seem to have a strong direction, that wastes time doing stupid stuff people aren't interested in, that drags everything out way too long, and then promises a bunch of things that, based on their past, you don't have a lot of confidence they're going to deliver. And that's Ubisoft, pretty much to a T. Now, Dave, what's the next award?
This is one that is really like this is what I look for at a conference. I want to see the best trailers, the best graphics. So our next award is the 2006 Next Gen Console Graphics Award, which goes to Star Trek. What is it, Bridge Commander? I think, or
Yeah.
Bridge Command.
No, Bridge Crew. Not even
Crew.
Commander, Bridge Crew.
Yeah, you're like
terrible
You're
name
not.
for it.
Yeah, it's like be the part of the crew, not really like the coolest guy, like the
Reactor
commander.
room worker.
Yeah, you get to fix the elevators.
Star Trek Maintenance Simulator.
Look, I understand that it is a VR game. I get that. But there are way better VR games out there. Better looking VR games. And to hear, what's that guy's name?
LeVar Burton.
LeVar Burton talk so much about how real it felt and having to work with the team. And it was just like,
Did it.
I don't
Did
see
it
the
now.
immersion there because it looked awful.
Has he played a real game before? Like, is this like his first VR game ever?
Speaking of which, the next award is the most unnecessary use of a celebrity to waste 5 minutes award, which goes to, I wrote down just being condescending, Rainbow Books Spaceman, LeVar Burton. Or the soccer coach during the EA conference, who you can tell did not want to be there.
That was super awkward.
Like maybe he's just got a
Oh.
very dry sense of humor that didn't carry through. But it was it looked like he was just like, can I leave the stage now? Yes, I'm in the game. Yep, you have my likeness. Yes, you paid me to do this. Are we done? Like, I got to go back to football, the number 1 sport in the world. The next award, James. What
the
was
most
next award?
Nintendo decision. And so we awarded this to Nintendo after, as we already mentioned earlier, how they showed a little bit of the Zelda trailer, which was really cool. And they said, we really want to dedicate almost this entire show to showing you Zelda. But first, we're going to show you a few minutes of Pokemon. 45 minutes? 55 minutes?
55 minutes.
It was the longest running section of any game I've seen at any conference. I think it might have been as long as the Zelda portion of the whole rest of the thing. And it was just 3DS games don't excite me that much as it is. But it was Pokemon too, and that just there was no reason for that to be a 2-hour show.
Yeah.
But we
I think
also
go ahead.
I put this at the as the next line. Were you going to talk about Nintendo, Joel?
Yeah, I was just going to mention
Okay, go ahead and talk about that, and I'll mention the.
I was going to say how what frustrated me about their conference too is after they finished Pokemon and they showed off Zelda for a while, they ended it, right? Or they did these long 5-10 minute breaks in between showing games.
Really
and I'm
weird.
like, really? Like you play it like is this not
yeah.
okay? I was just like, okay, this is unprofessional. But then after they showed Zelda for a while, you kind of had a feeling, okay, is that it? Is that all you're showing? Nope. They were doing all day long, but it was just like, there was no hey, here's a schedule. It's going to be back on in another hour, another 2 hours, you see more. So I had no idea. So when more footage of the game started showing up later in the day, I was like, where'd this come from? Because their gameplay footage, it was awesome, but it wasn't mind-blowing. It was just it was very teaser-esque, and the guy who was playing wasn't very good. And then it was later on, it was holy crap, this is awesome. Why didn't you show that? You guys are crazy.
All right, our next award is the Things Losers Say Award. James, this was your idea.
So knowing that Microsoft had released not any really specs other than 4K for their new console, they did say it was going to have 6 teraflops for bandwidth for the GPU.
Mm-hmm.
And Nintendo said today that NX is not about teraflops, which to me says we know we can't compete, so we're just going to say we can't compete. And that to me is someone who cannot physically run a mile say, oh, I don't care about running. That's because you're not good at it.
It seems weird that they keep insisting on still making their own hardware while insisting that the hardware doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got really pissed about that too, because for me, I'm not ever worried about Nintendo making good games on the system they have, because they can pump out amazing graphics on the Nintendo Wii for Skyward Sword, Twilight. They were awesome at for what they can do on that, and Super Mario Galaxy are phenomenal looking games on that system. I'm never worried about Nintendo, but I feel like what pisses me off the most is they go, yeah, we don't care about that. That's great. But you do realize you're not gonna get jack shit from third-party people because they can't play on your damn system.
The more they separate
control.
in quality,
yeah, exactly,
the harder it's going to be for third-party developers to make games for them.
Yeah,
especially when they're more than likely going to have some backwards-ass architecture too.
Yeah,
they probably won't go with AMD this time. They'll probably have slot machine processors in them or something just Nintendo-y.
Exactly, because it's I don't think the Nintendo Wii U had to be 100% exactly like the PS4. Let's say the same speed. Let's say if it was a tiny bit slower, that's fine. I think that's close enough. I'm not expecting them to be hey, we have to put a 8-core system, 32 gigs of RAM. I don't think you need that to compete. It's just that they're nowhere close. It's not even the Nintendo Wii U played Mass Effect worse than the PS3. That's embarrassing. The PS3 has 256 megabytes of RAM and video card swapped. The Nintendo Wii, I think, at least has 2 gigs. So I'm are you freaking kidding me? That's what I think is bad about it. That it's well, yeah, of course you're going to sucker me into getting Zelda and Mario. Of course I will always buy a damn system for those 2 games. But it would be awesome if the other third parties said, you know what, let's make a really cool game. Back on when the Wii was out, there were some really cool third party games that came out and utilized it pretty well. But no, it's I understand.
I would trust them more if when they said it's not about teraflops, it's about the experience. I would trust them more if they got it right last time.
Yeah.
If they really missed the mark last time. And really, the Wii, I think, is a fluke because
It absolutely is a fluke. I've
the,
looked
I
at their
mean,
sales
the,
figures, it's a
the
fluke.
system itself wasn't that great. It was just, you know, the input in the first party games.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and that was cheap enough to where people could hop into, you know, the market and buy games, but they're not going to capture those people back. Even someone from Ubisoft said they're going to try to recapture some of those people, but I don't trust Ubisoft either.
No, not at
Now,
all.
my uncle listens to our podcast, and he loves Nintendo, and we always like arguing back and forth because he got me into Nintendo. We would play Mario Party at his house all the time on the N64. Huge Zelda fan, and you know, I think he defends that there's, you know, a lot of good games on Nintendo, and I 100%
There are a lot of great
agree.
games. The games is never really
it's
an
more
issue.
like, here's the thing for me. Okay, like out of the, let's say 8 games that like Nintendo exclusively makes for Nintendo, maybe like a year, 6 to 8 games, right? Like really good games. Usually about 2 of them are ones that I enjoy playing, right? Now on the PS4, out of the, let's say 150 games that come out in a year, I'm excited about probably about 15 or 20 of them. You know what I mean? So there's a much bigger broad, you know, I can play. So for buying a Nintendo only for just Nintendo exclusives, I'm buying a Nintendo for 1 to 2 games a whole year. You know, and now maybe combined with everything else, it's not like, oh, it sounds like first world problems, you know, but it's like, it'd be nice to know that the Nintendo Wii is bought, for at least for me, purchased more than just playing Zelda and 1 Mario game. That's it. That's what I got the Wii U for, Zelda and Mario.
And then they didn't really even deliver.
Yeah. And then the Mario Party game I got was pretty crappy. And everything else was like, I mean, like there was like a Kirby game that looked amazing, but it's like, it's not really my thing, but I can appreciate it. So it's like,
Yeah.
They don't need to be in the hardware business to make those games.
Yeah.
Exactly. But because there's a very real chance we're going to lose power midway through this podcast, and so far we have a 148 episode unbroken streak of never losing one, we're going to try not to have that happen to this one either. So we're going to move a little bit faster for the rest of this episode. The next award...
We go fast.
The next award is the Joel is Cutting an Onion Award, when Joel becomes emotionally overwhelmed by the beauty of something he sees on screen, which last year was Fallout 4 when Joel was crying. And I'm not making fun of Joel. He was excited for this for years, and it was everything he wanted, and he just sat there and let it happen. And this year, as soon as the Star Wars theme happened, look back, and Joel's just going, ooh, oh, right now? Oh, okay, John Williams, you can do that.
Dude, it took me, but I had full body shivers. Like, I was just like, oh my God, like, I'm going to sit in the X-Wing and look around and be able to dogfight. Like, oh, like, I'm so excited for that. That is a childhood dream. Oh!
Childhood dream, sit in the X-Wing and go, oh! The next award is the Wonder Book Award, which goes for a section of a conference that was just not a little bit too long, didn't waste some time, goes on way too long, and you can tell they're just not reading the room right. For this year, it was the Eagle VR demo from Ubisoft, where the Eagles are racing against each other, because they don't just show one round, they show multiple rounds of this not very fun, not very good-looking game. It might be a ton of fun if you're actually wearing VR goggles, but VR is really hard to demo live for other people. You kind of have to try it. That's what everybody who's tried VR says. You have to try it, and then you'll get it. So
that's just not something you want to sit and watch, especially
exactly.
when you're tired.
Not for 10 minutes.
That was one of my naps.
And then Steep. The problem with Steep is they never really explained what Steep is. You can snowboard and you can ski and you can like wingsuit on this mountain. But what's the game? Like, that just means they've built this sandbox where you could do stuff in it. Like, but what are you going to do?
Let me add this. This was their one more thing announcement. The president came out and wanted to be able to share this new IP.
Yeah.
Like, it was a big deal. It wasn't just like, and now we have another game coming out. It was, our president's going to come out and show you this new IP that's coming out and going to blow your nips off. Yeah.
The last award, or the second to last award, is the Most Girly Screams. Not all from Debbie, but some of them. Went to Skyrim Special Edition. When they actually announced it, it took Debbie 2 or 3 seconds to actually register what was happening, and then she just started screaming. And I think everybody else in the room who's a Skyrim fan was pretty excited too. It looks good. It doesn't look better than you can make a game look with mods, but you'll also
it's going to probably run a heck of a lot better.
It's going to run a heck of a lot better, and if you own all the DLC on PC, they're going to upgrade you for free, which is awesome. That's really cool of them. Now, I hope they just give you a copy of Skyrim Special Edition and don't actually swap the copies out, because that could be problematic. And I think, there are probably some people who don't want that to happen without their consent, who would probably rather just keep the original version for whatever reason, maybe because they really like modding it. So hopefully they just give you a second option. But and then the last award are Throw Money at the Screen Award, or Be Excited but wait to purchase until the reviews are out because Jeremiah never pre-orders award for Casual Shenanigans Game of the Show. We did not pick one because we couldn't decide on one. So how about we just each of us talk about what our game of the show is?
They didn't show anything of it other than some landscapes, but I'm most excited about Mass Effect. I wish that had shown more, but what they showed was enough, I think, for me to get excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's going to be a day one purchase for me.
Probably for me as well, but since they didn't really show anything, like I'll get excited about it when I see all the improvements they've made to gameplay and stuff. Like, that's when I know I'll be excited to see it. I'm excited that there's a new one coming because the other ones were so great, but I guess I'm not super pumped about it yet. Joel, what about you?
Just tagging off that a little bit. Their trailer definitely got me in the mood. It got me thinking that
this is a Joelism. This is an example of a Joelism.
It got me thinking that it looks more and more like they're almost going a little bit of the Witcher 3 route, where they're trying to make this game not just one episode of a game, but this game to be freaking huge, a full-on gigantic galaxy space, epic.
Which is probably
so,
what
we'll see if that will
do.
happen.
Yeah.
But it was just everything they were showing off. Because we've seen a few snippets of their gameplay that you can now have a jetpack, and it's less like you're just confined to like certain tunnels or areas. It looks like you can now platform a bit. And seeing that, and then seeing what they showed at E3, going, holy crap, this might be really awesome to explore some planets, because you're not just confined to one little trail, like you can get out, jetpack on top of rocks, or, find stuff. That really excited me. So I'm like, this could be a kind of Witcher 3, but space. Like, just the amount of stuff they're piling into it, because it's been a long development cycle for it. So we'll see. Because when Mass Effect 1 came out, I honestly could not believe it. It was like beyond unreal to me, because the graphics looked amazing on a 360. That, like the motion blur, the film grain, it just had such a cool, gritty sci-fi feel. I was immediately sucked in. And the music too it felt above the rest of all the games when it came out. So I'm hoping they're doing it again, where it's gonna be like, oh my gosh, where did this come from? So we'll see. But I was excited about it. But my most excited game, honestly, has to be Zelda.
Hey, Dave.
Hey guys, just came back from Oz. It's pretty cool.
Dave, we are now talking about our game of the show, our personal games of the show. So do you have one?
Oh man, I want to say Battlefield 1, but I don't feel like I know enough about it to be confident in that choice. I'm going to actually go with, I'm going to have to scroll here to find the name again, because I've already forgotten it.
We Happy Few?
We Happy Few. Thank you, James. That was a total surprise for me.
That looked really fun.
And after like that 4-minute little in-engine like concept trailer thing, I'm sold. I'm very excited about that.
And I think mine would probably be Forza Horizon 3.
It looks really good.
If I was just going to decide, if there's one game I can just give you money right now, if I could play it right now, a lot of the other games probably will be amazing at some point. Like, I wanted to play almost everything Sony showed off. I wanted to play almost everything Microsoft showed off. I wanted to play half the things at the PC show. Maybe one of the Ubisoft ones.
Joel, how do you have 15 gigs of RAM?
I thought it said 16. I meant 16.
What is this referring to?
The chat.
He bought some NVIDIA RAM, a little bit rounded off the top there.
He says he's got a GTX 980 and 15 gigs of RAM.
1 gig was like, I ain't working.
I think the game that I'm not necessarily sold on, but I'm most excited to see is that Sea of Thieves. I think that looks fun enough to where it could be one of the games that we play as a group.
If they have quests like co-op quests and searching islands and, building stuff, like maybe not too crazy amount of building, but just enough where it's like, we could find our own island, build a little thing there. But then, yeah, that does look like it's going to be a really fun game to play too.
Also, don't forget that State of Decay is now co-op.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Fun.
one little news item I'm going to slide in here at the end of the E3 stuff, piggybacking on what we said about the Xbox and the future of the Xbox platform. So Phil Spencer talked to some more people, and Ars Technica published an article I just saw. It just published a couple hours ago. They're going to sell Microsoft games on Steam again. We don't have confirmation that it's going to be the universal Windows platform games. Like, we don't have confirmation that will continue the cross-platform, cross-buy stuff. Xbox Play Anywhere is what they're calling it. We don't have confirmation of that yet, but they said they are going to start selling at least some games on Steam again. So that could be pretty cool. And if they are the Xbox Play Anywhere games, that'd be awesome for a lot of people.
If they could work out a deal with Steam, I think
the
console race would be mostly done, honestly.
Well, for the next 5 years, maybe. Like, Sony is still way ahead, and Sony doesn't have anything to worry about, and Sony has a really strong stable of games. But as far as who might be on top in another 10 years, Microsoft would go from having one losing platform and one platform they don't pay attention to automatically the dominant platform in 5 years. Potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially. So, it is now time for the news.
News time.
Joel, what's your news item?
Let me see who it was again. It was about basically potential Xbox One getting mouse and keyboard support. It was just kind of rumored. It's not sure when, but basically he was saying, like, instead of like, a while from now, it could be fairly soon in the next couple of months or something like that. And honestly, just hearing that is really exciting. And honestly, after their keynote, that would be such a huge move for them. I think like every PC game, when you plug in a controller, it's got full button controls, you know what I mean? So I imagine the games that are coming to console could probably super easily have, at least all the icons with it as well. I have you know what I mean? Like, they already made it on PC with all the icons how it is. So it'd be awesome to see that, because just giving people more freedom to have that, I think you're going to bring in more people. You're going to earn more trust from it, and people are going to be more likely to buy your products, your games, because you're responding to what people have been asking for a long time. And especially for, games like the Halo Wars, I think it's going to be very awesome to be able to play with a mouse and keyboard. I'm sure they can probably do a cool controller way, but for people that are used to it, you might get someone who's maybe wasn't to PC gaming for a while and not anymore, and they just play on Xbox, but they used to play on it. Oh, sweet, I'll plug in my keyboard. I'll be able to play just like old times. I think it's a great move, and I hope to see that it actually happens.
I think it goes more towards the unified platform, honestly.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, it's a PC. It's a system on a chip PC. It's x86 based. If it runs a version of Windows 10 with a skin on top of it, which is what it is right now, and you can use a mouse and keyboard, like, the next step is them saying all the regular apps on the Windows Store can also be installed now. Like, that would be the last step, which I don't think they would ever do, probably, just to like maintain that thin little barrier between people thinking, but PCs are difficult. I just want a console I can pop in and play. Like, this is probably, they got to keep that little barrier so people still mentally go, no, this is a gaming console. This isn't a computer, even though it's like 100% a computer.
I mean, as far as apps and stuff, they have way more different media apps than PS4 has. So I think they're probably using some of that similar Windows 10 technology to port those in there. So it wouldn't be that surprising for them to add a few more non-media, non-game apps in the future. Now, if they add something like TeamSpeak or something like that, that would make me happy. Although they're better. They're obviously better than PS4 as far as audio quality, but that'd be a nice plug-in. Microsoft.
It is now mail time.
Mail time!
You can write in to be part of the show, casualshenanigans@gmail.com, just like Aaron did. Aaron said, hey guys, you talked recently about less sweet Coke, so I want to ask you if you've tried Red Bull Cola. It's less sweet than Coke or Pepsi and a bit more spicy. Sadly, it's significantly more expensive, like 3 times the price. Now, I'll caution that with, just because it doesn't taste as sweet doesn't mean it doesn't have as much sugar. And he doesn't mention directly how much sugar there's in it. It says, on another point, I have tried Mountain Dew for the first time last week. It's not a big brand here. The first time I've seen it in stores was 2 years ago. So why is that? What's that stuff supposed to taste like? To me, it just tastes like glucose with mildly sparkling water. Not that it tastes particularly bad, it's just boring. And last, the thing I mentioned at the end of my last email, a donor the spelling is easy. He gave me like a pronunciation for it. The Doner is probably the most common fast food in Germany. It's kebab with salat in bread. It comes from Turkish immigrants and is totally awesome. Greetings, Aaron. I don't really understand what a doner is still. I will look up a picture. And then our next bit of email was from Josh. He wrote in and said, "Hey, Casual Shenanigans. My name is Josh." Hey, Josh. "I have questions for all of you, including Jeremiah. Just yesterday, I saw an article on...
What does that mean?
I don't know. Just yesterday, I saw an article on Gamers Nexus here. Here is the link. And the link says that, according to Gamers Nexus, Mirror's Edge Catalyst has DRM, and it limits PC users to 4 installs. At that point, you can't use it anymore, which, if you remember, also was a thing that happened with Mass Effect, the original Mass Effect, and I believe Assassin's Creed 2 back in the day. I said, so if you've read the full article, what do you think if companies like EA, Ubisoft, Steam, and any other online gaming stores that do DRM limit or lock you out of your account if you upgrade your system? For example, if Jeremiah upgraded the potato masher with a GPU, CPU, or motherboard and wanted to play the next Battlefield for benchmarking, but somehow it couldn't be recognized by your computer parts because you upgraded, and it made you buy the game again and make a new account. What are your thoughts? And thank you for wonderful, interesting content." Well, I mean, I think that would be terrible.
That's bad.
I mean, what do you guys have any thoughts?
No, it's bad.
I thought we were past all that DRM, at least that kind.
No, that's why I appreciate Steam in that you can deactivate computers if you need to and activate them. But they're always there for you to re-download. And I don't think they track how many times you personally download it if you're managing your, up to 5 computers.
Kind of like Windows XP. I mean, they said you could only install it a few times, but I installed that thing like 10,000 times and they never cared.
Even Adobe has a pretty sweet system now where my work computer with my personal Adobe Creative Cloud account on it died. When the computer wouldn't boot, it was 100% dead. And I went to install Creative Cloud on a new second computer, and it's like, hey, this is the 3rd activation. Do you want to deactivate an account that was on another computer before? I said yes. And it said, okay, please wait. And it was like 2 seconds later, it was like, all right, you're done. Enjoy your Adobe programs. It's like, oh, all right.
But that was mail time. Again, you can write into casualshenanigans@gmail.com. Now, we just want to tease you guys a little bit for episode 150. Joel.
Yeah, I'll tease them. I can
okay,
tease them
I don't know why you're smiling that big. I was just going to say, no, go ahead. All right, never mind. Forget what I was going to say. Go ahead.
No, our 150th episode's going to be pretty awesome. We've been planning it for a while. You definitely want to be here live. I think it's going to be even more enjoyable, and watching it live, there's going to be
concept, really.
Yeah, the concept and it's going to work better watching through video than on a podcast. It'll be great too, but you're definitely going to get it, get more of the experience watching it in video form. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to tease, like we have some special surprises for people. So, but you definitely want to be here, so don't miss out, because yeah. The end of the show, there's a secret. You won't guess what happens after
we're not
the end
doing
of the
our
show.
normal write in or call in and do trivia.
Yeah.
And give away games that way. We're doing something different this time.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Significantly different. And to be honest, you guys might not even enjoy it, but we're still going to do it, and we're kind of excited. So, and yeah, it'll be streamed live on the Casual Shenanigans channel.
Cool.
People are asking, will there be giveaways? Oh, there'll be something given away.
Don't say it like that, Joel. There'll be nothing legally binding. We are not legally binding to giving anything away.
Nothing illegally happening either.
Yeah.
No illegally.
But
Binding stuff.
things will happen.
Yeah.
There will be cool things happening. And it will be streamed on the Casual Shenanigans channel on the 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see a lot of you guys out in the chat hanging out. Should be an awesome time. Come celebrate 150 episodes with us, because honestly, I wouldn't have figured it would have lasted this long. And miraculously, we haven't all quit yet. So maybe a couple weeks from now, it'll just be me by myself, having driven the rest away. But
it all ends after 150.
It all falls apart. Divorce.
We're still talking about DayZ. Okay, I have one last thing in the 90 seconds. Does everyone out here have access to Word doc, like just or a Google Doc? Just open a Google Doc or open a Word doc real quick. This is a little experiment. I was we were typing down stuff today and at work, and I just started laughing because I was like, whoa, I was looking at it close. I was like, wait a second, this is so stupid, but it's really funny. Okay, so everybody open a Word document or a Google Doc right now. Okay, so you need to do the experiment. Okay, so all right, everybody have it open now. All right, good. So all I want you to type is just a number 1 and then do a couple spaces and then number 1 again. All right, now press enter a bunch of times, maybe 4 or 5 times. Okay, now do a couple tabs and then do a 1 space, another one.
Wait, all right, hold on. I'm
Okay.
opening up Word.
Okay.
I'm just using the Google Doc.
Okay, so just type a 1.
Oh, come on.
Space,
Word's not
space,
taking...
1, enter. Do a couple of enters, so you go down a couple spaces, right? Then do space, or then do a 1. Then space, a 1. And basically put ones here, scatter all across. You're gonna hate this. So
Why do we do this? I don't understand. What are we doing?
Okay. Do you know what this looks like now? Like
I
after
don't
you
know
made a
what I'm
couple.
doing.
Okay. Well, I was typing ones in different places because a design we were working on, and all of a sudden I was looking at the ones. I was like,
what?
I mean, it's too long to explain. But anyways, the ones, they freaking look like little. Gosh, what's the name of them? Now I just blank on
like
what they are.
skiing flags?
Yeah, skiing flags. And I
Is
was
that
like,
is that because we recently played a skiing game together?
yeah, well, I was looking at it. I was like, wait a second. I just made my own ski-free map. I was just dying laughing. And I was just telling
made a
everyone I
slalom,
was
Joel.
working
Good
with.
job.
And they're like, did you just make a skiing slalom? I was like, yeah. I was like, this is awesome. I never realized that ones look like ski slope flags. Yeah, it was happy for me to this today. I enjoyed that. That's all I have.
Okay. I'm sorry that I'm too dumb to do the joke.
Okay. The surprise for 150 is not that. Guys,
The surprise for 150 is more thought out than that. It's been
7.
worked on-
Type 7.
Everybody gets their own sheet of
Word
paper with
doc.
slalom on it.
Oh
You
my
can do
goodness.
your own
The chat is just
tabs.
disgusted with you, Joel. I hope a notepad for that.
All right, guys, type in 8. Now put them side by side. It's a snake.
8?
I don't know. They're
Why do we
snakes
give
like
it? Why does he
Slytherin.
have a segment on the podcast still? What has he done to earn this?
This the 60
He peed
seconds.
in his own mouth. That's what he did.
I instated the 60 seconds, or 9. Is it 9? It's 90
It's
seconds.
4 years, Joel.
I instated it because it used to be 60 seconds, and I think we changed it to 90 seconds. But I instated it so I could always have my little corner, a little Joel corner, so that it would be another reason to come back to the podcast. All right, that's all I have.
So when do I get Dave's immersion corner?
All right, well, that's kind of all I have.
Okay, thank you.
It's a big
You're welcome.
letdown.
Sorry.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming out. This has been Casual Shenanigans Gaming, a podcast all about the irreverent love of gaming. As always, you can follow us online, casualshenanigans.com. You can tweet at casualshenaniga. You can write into casualshenanigans@gmail.com to be a part of the show. And episode 150 is next week, and we will see you all then. Thank you guys very much for coming out and listening to the show. Thank you for watching later on iTunes or YouTube or any of those other places where you can find us, Google Play, Stitcher, all that other stuff. And we appreciate all of you guys, and we'll see you next week for episode 150. Stay casual.